So now we want to look at what happens if we have some decline in consumer expenditure, more generally any sort of adverse demand side shock. Well, a decline in consumer confidence, holding everything else equal as usual, it's going to lead to a fall in consumption. Consumption is a part of aggregate demand. So it's an AD shock, so demand is going to shift in this way. AD one, say. You're going to go that way. Which is going to leave us at a point like B. So that was A. Initially, we're on our long-run aggregate supply curve at our natural output, where price expectations were equal to the real prices. This adverse demand shock pulls us from A to B. What's going to happen? Well, temporarily, we're going to be in equilibrium where our short-run aggregate supply meets our aggregate demand, which is going to leave us at the point, say, Y1. Okay, so we're going to have a recession in that we're lower than our initial or long-run equilibrium level. What can we say about B? Well, at point B, real wages are higher than were expected. Yeah. So prices B are less than prices A. Real wages are your nominal wages divided by the price level. So when you go from PA to PB, this bottom bit goes down. Don't forget, we're always assuming this is sticky, so real wages go down. So prices will fall, and by more than nominal wages, if nominal wages fall at all over the period. So what does this mean? This means workers are now relatively more expensive. Yeah. So this is the cost the real cost of hiring a labourer. So they've gotten more expensive, which explains why there's this drop. Okay. Inputs are more expensive, so output goes down, holding all else equal. So what's going to happen over time? Well, over time, workers are going to reduce their price expectations. So when you go in to argue, or negotiate rather, a new wage contract, this is what you care about. If you think that this is going to be lower, you'll accept a lower contract or a lower wage contract, which will mean that this tends towards the labour market equilibrium. So you go from a point where you have excess supply down to a point like this. What's going to happen? Well, if you reduce your wage demands, don't forget the short-run aggregate supply curve is based on price expectations. Over time, you're going to shift to this. You're going to readjust your expectations about prices, shifting your short-run aggregate supply curve out as workers become cheaper again in real terms, which will leave you at a point like this, point C. What can we say about point C? Well, at point C, you're back to where you were in terms of output, but you're at a lower price level. So the economy automatically sorts itself out. The mechanism then obviously is crucially dependent on the process of wage adjustment. So how quickly this process happens, this process of moving from B to C, depends how quickly this process happens. And is it, you've got a question, is it reasonable that workers are going to respond to lower prices by demanding lower wages? It's reasonable in that, you're no worse off if your real wage is the same before and after. You're no better off, but you're no worse off. But is it realistic? Not really. No union is going to go in, or no individual is going to go in and say, okay, prices went down. I'd like my real wage restored to its lower level, please. And so what you'd really have to do is wait for productivity to make this shift from B to C, or from this short-run aggregate supply curve to this one.